Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Sorry, I hit the mute button there by mistake. Tell me if you can't hear me, please. I actually have my headphones on today because at least that way I can tell if you guys can hear me. When I have the earbud in, I can't. I cannot tell if you guys can hear me. Hi. Hope everyone's doing well. Um, there we go. Hi, everyone. I got the window open today because it's actually bright here today at 6 p.m. instead of dark, which is very nice. And thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all being here. Welcome back or welcome to the channel, whatever it may be. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Good. You can hear me good. I messed up a little bit on the last two videos, so aw, thank you, little bear. Thank you. I'll go back up to the top here. So Cheryl, hello, little bear, hi, Mildred, Ginger, thank you so much. We're going to add an article to today. We're going to add a couple of things to today. One being an article that Ginger sent me. Very good article. So we're going to add that to the list. And, there's an elephant in the room. So I may as well just discuss it and we can get it out of the way and move on to the important things. Allie or Allison, thank you for being here. Donna, Liz, Dragonfly Lover, thank you. Cheryl, thank you. Violet, thank you. Liz, if I didn't say it already. That's such a bad memory. Uh, Rena Gal, hello. Thank you, Rena Gale. I always say Rena Gal. Damien, hi. Thank you. Jessie D, thank you. Uh, Damien, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much. And we'll play our appreciation song at the end of the live, and I'll bring up any memberships or stickers or anything like that. Yes, Mayflower, happy Sunday. Yes, and it's so nice that uh it's so nice that the light it's still light out, so I can open the window and sit here with the window open until it turns dark, and then I'll have to close it. uh Bonnie, hello. Thanks for being here. Oh, my microphone keeps falling down. I guess I gotta tighten it. There. Um, yeah, so let us start off with um I I yesterday was chilling, with the company that I have here every weekend, which includes my grandson. So I'm usually, on the weekend we're paying most attention to him, of course. Um, and I did see a video come in from Hidden in the Fog. Uh, it shows up in my algorithm. But I didn't click on it because I saw that it had Darren Geddes in it. And you guys know what I'm like when it comes to Mr. Geddes. I don't really pay a whole heck of a lot of attention to that shenanigans. And hence shenanigans. Um, and so Angelina, hi, thanks for being here. So I didn't click on it, of course. And then I seen an email come in from uh, lovely Ginger. And I know when Ginger sends me something or forwards it, there's a reason why. So I usually pay attention to it. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe I should look at it. There's a reason she's sending this to me. And she didn't have much to say, but wow. I mean, what else could she say? And Gaspé Gal, thank you. And so I clicked on it and watched it. And all I can say, I'm sure all of you here have seen it. Hi, Ash. And, if you haven't, truth be told, hi. Eduardo, hi. Uh, so I, Eduardo, I am from Nova Scotia, Canada. Holly Jolly, hi. Nice to see you. Uh, Cheryl, the other Cheryl, hi. And all I can tell you is that I became, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating at all. I became very nauseous. Have you all seen it? Just press one if you've seen it. I'm not going to play it because, as you know, I just won't. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not doing it. Uh, I always said I'm just not going to give him the time of day. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hi, Paul. Paula, sorry. Hmm. I figured. Yeah, so I'm not going to play it again. And so I did become very, I had a visceral effect for sure, definitely. And all I could say, yeah, shit, Annie. All I can say is, I couldn't say much back to Ginger. Just told her I that made me just nauseous. Like, you know, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And in a sense, does it shock me? Does it shock me that what I'm hearing is coming from the likes of that man? No, no. Um, I've said before, as you guys know, I am from Pictou County. I am well aware of who Darren Geddes is. Um, and I said right from the get-go, just be very careful when someone starts, you know, starting with the money, the whole money thing, who you hand your money out. Well, this is just absolutely foolish. I mean, surely nobody is going to, you know, be giving, if anybody wants to donate $1,000 towards the searches, no matter what, where you're giving it, if it's ground search and rescue or please bring me home, surely you're going to donate that $1,000 directly to them, not to, Mr. Geddes for a toolbox, which is just absolutely ridiculous and disgusting. Um, but, as I was saying, I did state early on that I am from here. Um, of course, I've had one particular run-in with Mr. Geddes years ago. I talked about this before, and it was not a nice interaction. It was not nice. He's disgusting. You can certainly tell from that wonderful joke he likes to tell that he told, which was exactly how I ended up knowing, confirming that it was who I thought it was. I couldn't believe it. I just about fell on the floor because he came up with that joke. And I'm like, oh my Jesus, all these years later, he's still telling that damn joke that no man would be going around telling women, woman after woman after woman. Um, and so, I just about fell off my chair because I was like, oh my God, I'm right. That is him. That is who I thought it was. And then he went on to tell the same joke with Susan on her channel, which she puts some kind of thing over it so that you couldn't hear what he was saying because it's just ridiculous and disgusting. And I mean, he's known in Pictou County as just one of those over bragging, manipulative con type individuals, if you know what I mean. Not hard to tell. Um, and he I mean, this whole boxing thing, I'm from here. Like, yeah, we've had people around here who are known to be boxers. Not ever have I ever heard his name in amongst that. Now, does that mean he hasn't put a set of boxing gloves on before and done some boxing? I'm not saying that. I don't know. I don't really care. So have I. I'm not a boxer. Uh, so right here in Stellarton, there is an individual, well, he's passed away now, but his name was Leo Fahey. He was known. He was known as a, there, and there's many, many more, but he's just one in particular, I'm going to say here in Stellarton. And he was well known in the community as a boxer. He was lightweight. He taught other people how to box. I had the gloves on with him, and he ch- taught me how to throw some punches. And he was a good man. And but then you get your wannabes who would want to be somebody like that, but chooses not to be, but then goes around acting and pretending that's what they're like. No, he's no Leo Fahey. And he's not known to be a boxer. He's known to be a moron uh, who goes around uh, being manipulative and a bit of a con. Maybe not even a bit, probably a full-fledged. So, and when I discussed this before was when he started with, oh, his truck burnt out. He's living in his truck and now his truck burnt out and he had nowhere to go. And I just said, look, people, watch out for the poor me stories because you're going to have people like this who are going to play whatever card they can play. Now with him, it's the card that, I'm the fifth cousin of the missing children, which is just ridiculous. I mean, if you are concerned, it, being someone from the county, then you're just like the rest of us, concerned and want to know what happened to the children. So frig off with your the fifth cousin card. Uh, you know, it's just part of the manipulation tactic. Um, and anyways, as soon as I figured out who he was, and it was hard because I had went on Sunny's a couple of times. First time I still wasn't sure if that was him. Um, or it was when he told that joke, it was when I finally figured it out that that is him. That's exactly who I thought it was. But and you're on somebody else's show and you're just biting your tongue, you have to be polite, right? So, but the second time, I remember I was kind of calling him out a bit on this 6 a.m. in the driveway crap with Malaya because I just knew it was BS. It's not true. And so I was kind of trying to hook him and tie him into something there. And then he left the conversation. He wouldn't go any further. But Holly Jolly, he's a nobody from nowhere village. Exactly. 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 Um, you know, however, you think, okay, even though he's the individual I think he is, we still have two missing children here. And I can't assume that he's going to end up behaving like the dirtbag that he is. Or is he truly concerned like many of us are? Dirtbag or not, there's two children missing, and he could be quite sincere in his, you know, feelings here, like many of us. And no. So became what he did to Sonny on the show there, like, is just a perfect example, and he conned her right up to that point, and then, without knowledge, we heard everything that he had said to her that morning, which was the complete opposite. And then she invites him onto her show, and he pulls a 180 um, to her and Charmaine. So, you know, and then I thought, no, he's not in this because he's concerned like the rest of us, in the way the rest of us are. He's in this to just do his usual idiotic, moronic stuff that he does. Um, And I want to point something out. Another thing I had brought up was his fake stuttering. Um, and I talked about because that again, it's a manipulation tactic. So this you know, the and I mean it's very evident. It's not real stuttering. I mean, I know people who truly stutter, which is just that really irritates me because there's actually people that do stutter and have to deal with that in their life. And then you got this idiot using it as a tactic to try to come off, like poor him, like I don't. It's just drives me nuts. Did anybody notice uh, that he did not stutter once in that recording with Susan? Not once. And if you didn't notice, go back and listen to it. And it's because the stuttering is not real. And he wasn't trying to put on his whole act there. He was trying to sell you his toolbox. But you know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to hook somebody and reel them in. He's already got her reeled in. Now he's just using her show to spew his craziness. Yeah, I am Little Bear, I know. You notice, Liz? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not once. Not to once. Well, I hear the hubby coming upstairs. You want me, hon? Okay. Uh, yeah, I heard. I didn't get to watch the until late. Uh, until the baby went to sleep, and then I kept getting the Circle of Death. I had a heck of a time watching it. But yeah, I heard her say that. Yeah, yeah. Um, so honestly, guys, be careful. Be careful because you're gonna have these people who been like this forever and a day, their whole lives. This is nothing new with him. It's unfortunate that he has a very distant connection. I don't even want to call it a connection, like my God, I just had my DNA thing done and I see some third and fourth cousins coming up there that I didn't know I had. I don't know them. S- You know, uh, I mean, it's not really a connection. Being a concerned citizen as myself, being from the area, and already having my channel established and thinking, okay, well, I can do something to help this situation, which reminds me, I'm going to make myself small so you guys can see that poster there for the search. Um, in that way, like do some good, do what you can in that way, uh, not the mess and the disgust that is going on with Darren Geddes. It's just disgraceful, disgraceful. I'm gonna go back and look at some comments. We won't stay on this too long. Um, and I've always said to always that in situations like this, there's very vulnerable people involved. And, um, it's a shame. It's just a shame that there's people like this out there. And it's a shame that there's people who will entertain it. I mean, once you know, what this individual's like and to continue to entertain it or and I mean he went it was him and her on her show who put that out there. about this toolbox and insinuating the tool could be in there and this whole ridiculous story. And then turn around and say, YouTubers are uh, saying this and putting it out there that this could be connected. No, you two did. You two did. And it was only like, I think, a week ago or a week and a half ago. You two did. Like the whole thing is just bizarre. But that's all I can tell you is that it literally made me physically ill after I listened to that. Uh, yeah. So I can't go too far back. But I will. What was the joke? I don't know what joke you mean. Did I say something about a joke? Oh, sorry, his joke. Oh, about the woman and reading the book, and sometimes he'll say a bus or a train or um it's I'm not gonna tell the whole joke, but it's not a joke that a man goes around telling like back in the day that crap went on and no, no, it's inappropriate, it's disgusting. Uh and I can't even talk about my interaction with him when he told me that joke because it just makes me sick. Ugh. Ugh. Many sick individuals involved in this case. Yes, indeed. Sleazy grifter, yep. My dad was a Golden Gloves boxer in the military. He taught me a few moves. Cool, Ginger. So what did Deerwood do this time? You'll have to go watch Susan in Hidden in the Fog to see it, but it's disgusting. Uh, Dragonfly, he is telling tales about a rusty toolbox. Yep. He's a nobody from nowhere village. Yep. The county fool. Absolutely. Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. Hi Carrie, thanks for being here. My friend was a three-time Olympic champion back in the days. Cool. Mm-hmm. Um, uh, he has no morals. No, definitely. No morals. Even the voice on that video didn't sound like him. Yeah, he's got two different ways of talking there for sure. There's the when he's trying to hook you, the I I I I don't know. So we'll have to, there's that. Yeah. And then there's the Darewood on that tape or on the last audio. He sounded like a happy leprechaun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, got you hooked, baby. Got you hooked. Can I come back on next week and sling a little bit of more craziness? Yeah. So, like I said, if you guys didn't note that, yeah, and he sounded more like Cat. Um, if you didn't notice the no stuttering, fake stuttering, go back and listen. Hi, Nova and Chad. I watched Dr. Phil podcast episode on YouTube last night about Mariah Gardner and her daughter Willow. They were attacked by the ex, and Willow didn't make it. Aww, sad. Very sad. The stuff, that goes on. He sounded giddy. Yeah, it was so disturbing. Yeah, joking about a wrench that he first said was used. Right. Mm, the children. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Him and her put that out there together. Like the whole thing is just nauseated again. If you can get through it, though, it's worth the watch. It talks in depth about coercive control. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, it was disgusting. Yeah, very disgusting, Damien. I was truly disturbed by his voice change and the laughter. Yeah, I know. Uh, yeah. Someone had to do the filming for him since he only has a flip phone, according to him. Never thought of that, Ginger, unless he upgraded his phone. He is obviously a mentally ill individual, in my opinion, and so is Jordan. Yeah, and uh, the video Jordan made was very sick. Yeah, I don't watch him either. Thank you, Ginger, for putting the please bring me home up there. Hi, Joyous. Thanks for being here. Um, there is such drama, it turns you off the cake. Exactly, and that's why I'm going to hit it and dismiss it because it takes, it takes away from what really is the focus, and it's not that idiot. Yeah, he's a pig. Yeah. Nurse, hi, thanks for being here. Uh, okay, I'm down the bottom, so we're good. Uh, about the toolbox with Foggy. Foggy. Yeah. Okay, let us go over to, are you guys good? Is there anything like if there's something you guys want to bring up about that whole thing, or you're not ready to move on from it, you have some thoughts on it, let me know if you're ready to move on. If you're ready to move on, put a one in the chat and we'll move on to the article that Ginger sent me. Why are these monsters still out walking among us? I know, Liz. I mean, neglect is a definite, but I mean, they have to be careful that the right charges, the right people are charged with the right crime, you know? I agree, April. I agree. Yeah. A little bear, yes. Yeah. All right, so let's move on. We'll move on to the article that Ginger has shared. In case you guys didn't notice, I added Lily and Jack to the poster that I'm showing up in the right-hand corner. And I thought, well, there's enough room there. Add them to it. So join the search for Jack and Lily Sullivan. Public search in late April. To participate, email search@pleasebringmehome.com. Add your full name, phone number, emergency contact info. Safety first. Join our organized April search with trained teams, which is nice, because I know there is a lot of you that have gone out and searched. April, I believe you did. And anybody else that's here? Damien. Why am I thinking Holly that you did? I can't remember. I know there's some of you here that went out on the searches, previous searches, either with Please Bring Me Home or yourselves. And thank you very much. Thank you to all the searchers with Please Bring Me Home and Ground Search and Rescue, and the ones who just go out on their own and volunteer their time. And thank you for your sacrifice in doing that. In any searches, not just for Jack and Lily, but any searches. Um, yeah, so track your searches. Use the Can't make out what that says. Use the call Tapo app and share your tracks. I think that's what it says. I can't make out because the print is smaller. Yeah, I think it says use the Coltapo app. Coltapo. Okay. Coltapo app and share your tracks. Cool. Remove the wrong one. Search last week at my son's school. Good outcome, thankfully. Oh, was there was somebody missing? Oh, that's what I meant to do too. There's a missing poster of someone I want to take up here too. There's a couple of them actually. So Michaela, Britain, 15, Lockhartville, Nova Scotia. Details. Uh, Missing people Canada. Missing teen in Lockhartville, Nova Scotia. Michaela Britton, 15, last seen March 12, 2026. Michaela Britton, 15, has been reported missing from Lockhartville, Nova Scotia. Kings District RCMP is requesting the public's assistance locating missing teen Michaela Britton. She was last seen on Thursday, March 12, 2026, at home in Lockhartville. Michaela is described as female, approximately 4 feet 9 inches tall, 130 to 140 pounds, with long brown hair and brown eyes. She normally wears. Oh, is that not gonna let me open? I gotta go over to the other screen. Open that, the rest of it. There. She normally wears glasses and has two small silver stud piercings in her lower ears. She was last seen wearing a pink shirt and pink shorts. Police are concerned for her safety. Anyone with information on Michaela's whereabouts is asked to contact Kings District RCMP at 902-679 5555, referencing file 2026 32 95 38. Yeah, and you guys can see the picture of her there with her glasses and without her glasses. Uh, oh, that's good, Damien. Yeah. Yeah, so that's in Nova Scotia, so sad. And there's another one here as well. Two of them. The other one is in Ontario. Mm. Yeah, and I mean, she's 15. That's young. And this young girl is a teen as well. That one's a little hard to see. Didn't come up the way the other one did. So Veronica Plessa, 16, Oakville, Ontario. Age 16, complexion, brown, hair, black, slicked back ponytail. When she went missing, I guess. um, Last seen wearing burgundy sweater, black pants, black and yellow Jordan running shoes. Last seen Oakville, Trafalgar Memorial Hospital. Hmm. Area at 4:33 p.m., March 13th, 2026. May have traveled to Brontigo Station, Toronto via GO train. So it sounds like she is maybe suffering some uh, issues there mentally and left the hospital, perhaps. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to share those. And so now we'll go over and read the information that too many missing people, especially young girls. What's the weather like in Nova Scotia now, Nova? Is it warming up? It is warming up. We still have lots of snow, and the days are longer. So as long as we don't get any more snowstorms, hopefully, uh, it'll continue on like this, and we'll have a nice spring. I hope. I hope for a nice spring because actually last spring and the spring before both were not nice springs. So, okay, Ginger, we're gonna go over and we are going to read. Where did that go? What you sent me? Yeah, this is an interesting article. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the introduced bill and the $300,000 budget. So as I put, amid two missing children and the highest trafficking rate in Canada, so this is what's going on in Nova Scotia right now. So Nova Scotia has two missing very young children, very rare. I don't, you know, very rare. Um, and the highest trafficking rate in Canada. Um, and so within the last, I'll say month, um, uh, our child and youth advocate budget was announced. I'm going to bring that up. And then we have a bill being proposed. I'm just not too impressed. Not impressed at all. Uh, I don't know why Nova Scotia always seems it's like it's the forgotten province. Um, Yeah, where did that go? Just give me a minute, guys. I gotta find the video. CBC News. I know I sent it to myself, but I'm just not seeing it right now. Mm. What I'll do is tie the article that Ginger sent me in with when we go on to discuss the interrogation, the police officer that I discussed before, who he's retired now, but he was an interrogator, and he's gonna talk about interrogating narcissists and let us in on a few things there. Um, in his writing, right? He writes, and I receive those behind a paid wall. Um, why am I not seeing that? I know I sent that to myself. Okay, it's got to be this one. Yeah, I forgot it was under YouTube. Um, yeah, so he the paid wall that I am a part of, behind a paywall, the Medium Journal, he he'll write and send. Anybody can write, right? Like I could write, my experiences as a nurse or working in doing cases in true crime or whatever. But he is a interrogator, retired, and he's done it for eons. And he's writing all this information that he as a professional interrogator, in his experience, what he's learned over the years. So it's really interesting. I'm glad I paid for to be a part of this journal. Very interesting. So, and he does a lot of writing. So I get everything of his that he's sharing behind this paid wall of his experience as an interrogator. So he's gonna touch on, I believe, I have about three of his articles right now. I already read one of them to you guys. I believe this one is regarding narcissists and things that he's learned about interrogating a narcissist. So we'll tie that in with the article from Ginger. We'll do those back to back. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is the teeny weeny tiny blurb that was on the news that I'm sure all of you missed about the what we were waiting to hear about here in Nova Scotia, the child and youth, or the child and youth advocate for uh, child protective services. Um, and Nova Scotia doesn't have one. I think there's only a few or a couple provinces in Canada does not have a child and youth advocate. Um, and so they were given their budget. So I'm going to play this little blurb for you guys that was on the news that if anybody saw it, hi Bonnie. Yep. And anybody, Grendel, hi, thank you for being here. Anybody else new that come in that I missed, please excuse me. I'm not intentionally not saying hi to you. But thank you for being here. Um, anybody who heard this on the news, um, now, Cheryl, I know you have been paying close attention to this. Did you see it on the news? I bet you didn't. I'll be shocked if you say yes. Uh, hi, Brian. If I didn't say hi already. If I say hi to you guys like 2 or 3 times, you know it's because of my memory, right? My very immediate short-term memory. Uh, All right, so it comes on right after this, clip of the weather.
Next week, though, we'll talk about that coming up.
Get ready. Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
The province has set aside money to establish an office for a child and youth advocate. It's a move social workers say they've been pushing for the last decade. Shayna Luck has the story.
Monday's provincial budget included $300,000 for the Child and Youth Advocate Office. The Houston government made the commitment in 2021.
Definitely a relief to finally see this crucial office come to life. $300,000 is an initial startup, a place to hire an advocate and start to build from there. Comes at a time when children and youth and their families need a strong voice to advocate for the policies and the programs that are going to get them through the next few years.
But Stratford says the budget will need to grow. He wanted to see it at $6.5 million. That's what Manitoba's youth advocate got recently. PEI and New Brunswick both have offices with annual budgets between $1.7 and $2.6 million. Stratford says government officials have told him the intention is to increase the money in the future, but they've made no firm commitments. The minister responsible says some details of how the office will run are still being worked out.
I can't speculate about what might be in a future budget, but what I'll say is that once the regulations are in place, then we'll be able to share those details.
Department officials confirm the plan is for the office to begin work next January. Shayna Luck, CBC News, Halifax.
Yeah, and I just want to hear what they say again about the more money to come. But these people right here, this fella, Alec is his name, need to be speaking up and stirring up a stink.
Hire an advocate and start to build from there. Comes at a time when children and youth and their families need a strong voice to advocate for the policies and the programs that are going to get them through the next few years.
But Stratford says the budget will need to grow. He wanted to see it at $6.5 million. That's what Manitoba's youth advocate got recently. PEI and New Brunswick both have offices with annual budgets between $1.7 and $2.6 million. Stratford says government officials have told him the intention is to increase the money in the future, but they've made no firm commitments. The minister responsible says some details of how the office will run are still being worked out.
I can't speculate about what might be in a future budget, but
No firm commitment. Like that is such a slap in the face. And yes, Black Bear, exactly. Sometimers. Brendel, exactly. And other things too that I won't bring up because it'll come off the wrong way. But exactly. The money that's put out on stuff that is just ridiculous. And they'll try to tell you it's different pots of money. Like, piss off with that shit. It just, very ginger, very disappointing. Outside organizations need lobby for things like this. Yeah. And I mean, you try to speak up in Canada about anything. What they're doing now is basically if you try, and I have to be careful on here and what I say, but if you try to speak up on anything, they'll shut you down. It's not like it is in the US with freedom of speech and being able to fight for things. Um, and and the majority are not willing to fight either. That is what they are supposed to be doing. Yeah. So Manitoba, PEI, and New Brunswick all have in the millions. PEI is 1 million something, New Brunswick's 2 million, and I can't remember what they said for Manitoba, but it was a few million. Um, let's look up now keep in mind, okay, this is a mid. And by the way, what's his name? I'm so irritated with him right now. I'm not going to remember his name. Uh, oh my God. He's from Pictou County. Anyways, Harper. He's not Harper. Oh Lord. Jeez. I've known who he is for years. I should not forget his name, but it's just because I'm so annoyed right now. Um, but he's from Pictou County. Yeah, I knew that, Cheryl. You see the little blur, and when they put it in, like they threw it in between the weather, right? Because the weather had come on, and then they put that in there, and then I think they go back to I don't know, it was in amongst the not Armstrong, no. Um, it oh God, now I gotta look up his name for God's sakes. That drives me nuts. Christ, I know who he is. He lives right down beside my ex-sister-in-law. Uh, oh, oh, I can't think of it. Thank you, Tim Houston. Ah, drives me nuts. And I always say he sounds like he's American to me because that just to me sounds like an American name, Tim Houston from the USA. Um, yeah. So he's from Pictou County. So keep this in mind. He's from Pictou County. Okay. He's from this end of Nova Scotia, where not only is Nova Scotia the highest rate of trafficking, it's in the Truro area, which is this end of Nova Scotia. We have the 2 children missing, which CPS was involved. And that's here in Pictou County, where he's from. Not only in Nova Scotia, but here in Pictou County. Um, and it just disgusts me. It's so disappointing. And and I mean, I looked up the role of a child and youth advocate, and not so much that they directly have anything to do with the trafficking concerns, because of course there would be youth involved in that. But when you think about who the individuals that are preyed upon, um, that get pulled into that, of course, we know it's children who come from, um, there would be a higher rate of children coming from homes with situations going on that would initiate them being placed in the hands of CPS and foster care and things like that, right? They would be at a higher risk for the whole trafficking thing. So there is a connection there. And then we have the whole issue with CPS being involved with Lilly&Jack Sullivan. And so let's look up the other provinces there and uh, compare the Manitoba. Man, population. The Manitoba population. So for Manitoba, they said, I believe it was a few million. All right, so the Manitoba population, can you guys see that okay? If you can't, let me know. See if I can make it bigger. It's almost 1.5 million. Almost 1.5, 1.495. So give or take, right? And their budget was a few million. I can't remember exactly what they stated. Now let's look at Nova Scotia's. Probably should have pulled Nova Scotia's up first. Oh my gosh, that's 2021. So just over 1 million for 2025. Don't know if they'd have 2026 yet. Maybe they do. Let's put in 2026 to make sure. Because we have, okay, so same. Okay. PEI, I mean, PEI certainly doesn't have close to 1 million. I'd be shocked if it did. There you go. Uh, wow. And their budget is like, I believe that 1.5 million. Yeah, Ginger, exactly. Exactly. We're talking for a whole province, guys, with issues. The most major issues going on right now of all of Canada involving children. It's disgraceful. Yeah. Now look at the population of PEI. Their budget's 1.5 million, 1.5, or a bit over 1.5, I think it said. Probably a little bit more than Nova Scotia. No way. Stop. Oh my goodness. I thought theirs would have been more than Nova Scotia. And their budget is 2 million and something, New Brunswick. And so they're giving them 300, and that's a budget, by the way. 300,000. They're not going to commit to any future budgets. And to say that, well, maybe you'll get more in the future, but we're not committing to anything. And that's what they said. I played it twice. Right. Exactly, Ginger. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? There's an issue. There's concerns here. I just don't even know what to say. Hmm. Maybe Eric Strafford would like to come on my channel and talk about it. Maybe I'll reach out to him. That was him in that in the interview. Eric Strafford.
An office for a child and youth advocate. It's a move social workers say they've been pushing for the last decade. Shayna Luck has the story.
Monday's provincial budget included $300,000 for the Child and Youth Advocate Office. The Houston government made the commitment in 2021.
Definitely a relief to finally see this crucial office come to life. $300,000 is an initial startup, a place to hire an advocate and start to build from there. Comes at a time when children and youth and their families need a strong voice to advocate for the policies and the programs that are going to get them through the next few years.
But Stratford says the budget will need to grow. He wanted to see it at $6.5 million. That's what Manitoba's youth advocate got recently. PEI and New Brunswick both have offices with annual budgets between $1.7 and $2.6 million. Stratford says government officials have told him the intention is to increase the money in the future, but they've made no firm commitments. The minister responsible says some details of how the office will run are still being worked out.
Oh, I can't speculate about what might.
Stuff like this irritates me so bad that just even looking at her walking up to the podium with her mouth hanging open, like I just think, you idiot. Because I just get so irate. Oh,
Be in a future budget, but what I'll say is that once the regulations are in place, then we'll be able to share those details.
Department
Yes,
officials confirmed the
yes.
plan is
which they're not committing to, so that'll be never, right? Oh my. Hi, Belinda. Thanks for being here. Lots of love to you. Hi, Nova and everyone. I feel they're not committing because they are trying to change our laws. That's what we're moving on to next. And yes, ma'am. Bingo. That's why I put these two topics together. Um, they're trying to change the laws so we can't look into CPS affairs and where mistakes are going to be made. And we're going to move on to that next. And that is my whole point. So let's focus our time and energy into doing that, not into a program that is desperately needed in Nova Scotia. It just so upsetting. I noticed he didn't say a person to cover or to oversee the CPS. Yeah. Well, how are you going? What? Like he's probably thinking, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? Where do I even start? Like with $300,000. Like it's just basically shut up money. Like go away and shut up money. Oh man. All right. So Belinda, having said that, let's move on to the next. Yeah. I have myself off camera because I don't know why, but when you bring this stuff up now, it didn't used to happen, but it's happening not just with me, anybody. You freeze. And sometimes that freeze frame that you get caught in, it isn't so pretty. And I'm vain, I'll be honest. Oh my, this stuff just, it agitates me. It really does. All right, so we'll move on to the next, which is thank you to the Globe and Mail. It's so funny because I was going to touch on this topic without this article because I had actually read the proposed amendments. And when I read them, I was like, what the hell? I think I posted them on my Facebook or in the community, YouTube community. I'm sorry, I can't remember. And then thank God the Globe and Mail picked up on it. And I was like, "Oh, so they're touching on this." And I mean, of course they say it how it is and they say what needs to be said. So, instead of me saying everything I was going to say, we'll listen to their article and we'll discuss it. So, there she is again. Uh But these people in these positions, they have to start speaking up more um, in regards to what is being overlooked, what is needed. Yeah, I mean that man there, Eric Stratford, was it? Um, you know, you can kind of tell he seems like a pretty decent dude. I'm sure he was very disappointed. He was hoping for 6.5 million. And God, I wouldn't doubt it if he probably broke down, poor guy. Feel bad for him. So what the heck are you supposed to do with that? Yeah. Let's help families and children before they go missing. Exactly. It's all about their self-indulgence, filling their own pockets, evil, supporting evil. I don't disagree. There's something wrong, for sure. There's something wrong. That's the thing. There is a report to CPS, but never a follow-up with the reporter. How is the public to know if they honestly made a visit? Yeah. The government is a bit selfish and worry more about covering and protecting themselves. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. Sue Euler, hi, thank you. Nova Scotia, I thought, has the best care places for autism awareness help. They have Nova Scotia, I thought, has the best care places for autistic awareness help. I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, so this I'm going to play. Give my voice and my left side of my face a little break. Um, I'm pretty sure it has yeah. So it's 7 minutes, guys. But it's a good article. Of course, they touch on everything that I wanted to say. I had all my thoughts there. And I was so happy to see them do this article. I mean, the great journalism, honestly, from the Globe and Mail. And I can't remember if it was Lindsay. Doesn't matter, but Lindsay's good. Uh, yeah, it's Lindsay. Yeah, it is Lindsay. Good. Good, good, good.
Nova Scotia seeks to shield identities of children in protection system even after they die. This is an article by Lindsay Jones and read to you by an AI-generated voice. The Nova Scotia government intends to broaden its publication ban on identifying children who have been in the child protection system to apply even after they have died. The new legislation is more restrictive than laws in other provinces, and experts condemned it for decreasing accountability and blocking public scrutiny. The amendments were introduced last week by Opportunities and Social Development Minister Barbara Adams under Nova Scotia's Child and Family Services Act. She said in an email that clarifying and strengthening privacy laws better protects children. Strengthening and clarifying these protections helps prevent deeply personal details of the lives of children and youth from being shared in ways that could cause further harm to them, to grieving families, or to other children connected to the situation, she said. The amendments to the law were introduced 10 months after Jack and Lilly Sullivan disappeared from their Nova Scotia home, and as the family's interactions with the child protection system have come under scrutiny. Lilly, 6, and Jack, who was 4 at the time, have been the subject of an RCMP major crime investigation since May, although they have not been declared dead. Ms. Adams's predecessor, Scott Armstrong, told the Globe and Mail last year that he was reviewing a child protection social worker's involvement with the children. The proposed expansion of the ban means that if the children are deceased, the media would be prohibited from reporting on their child protection case. The ban gives the minister sole discretion over lifting it. Ms. Adams has repeatedly cited ethics and privacy laws as her reason for declining to answer questions about the case. She did not cite Jack and Lilly in her email explaining the proposed change, and explained that the amendments came out of a review of the law in 2021. The Globe's reporting has centered on how, in the months before the children disappeared, a provincial child protection social worker investigated a report of suspected abuse or neglect at Jack and Lilly's rural home in Lansdowne, Nova Scotia. The Globe also reported on safety issues inside the children's home, drug abuse, multiple black eyes on the children, and alleged physical abuse of their mother. At a standing committee this week, the Canadian Media Lawyers Association and the CBC objected to the proposed changes, saying they restrict openness and are a serious departure from the norm in Canada. They are unjustified limitations on the freedom of the press and the freedom of information, would decrease accountability, restrict public scrutiny of provincial agencies, permit the possibility of future harms to children, and limit a family's ability to speak out publicly about a child who has died while in contact with Children and Family Services, wrote lawyer David Hutt, who represented the groups. Regarding the case of Jack,
And I just want to say, I'm so glad they tied Lilly and Jack into this. And, you know, as far as that coming about in 2021, that's the thing. Like, believe me, just from the work that I've been in, I know how it works, okay? Politics of the whole thing. You know, when something's being looked at and worked on and how to do it right and not infringe on rights or whatever. And then something like this happens with Lilly and Jack, and then it's time to pull that out and get it pushed out as quick as possible, right? Due to the situation at hand. Like, trust me, I know how it works. Um,
and Lilly, where there is immense public interest, Mr. Hutt said in an interview, "We do need to find a balance between privacy and accountability." The law in Nova Scotia currently prohibits the publication of information that identifies a child who is subject to a child protection proceeding. University of New Brunswick law professor Christian Whalen, who is also New Brunswick's former child and youth advocate, described Nova Scotia's proposed changes to the law as troublesome developments. He pointed to previous cases in New Brunswick that have led to positive reform, such as the 2004 death of toddler Juliana St. Peter, which led the child and youth advocate to make formal recommendations, including that child protection workers receive more education on detecting neglect. In Juliana's case, despite multiple reports to Child Protection Services, a formal child protection investigation was never launched. Her mother was eventually convicted for criminal negligence, causing death. These are issues typically that need to be tested, and if government is really going to hold the line and insist on a gag order around reporting on incidents like this, then I think those laws need to be tested in the court, Professor Whalen said during an interview. For a jurisdiction like Nova Scotia to double down and throw more of a cloak over what is already a very closed system, that's troubling. University of King's College media law professor Lisa Taylor said the bill is a staggering restriction that does not improve the privacy or safety of children, insults the judiciary, and undermines the media's ability to deeply interrogate situations where things go gravely wrong. It just diminishes the existence of the child, and it feels very self-serving for anyone to suggest this is in the child's best interest, she said. It shields the system from scrutiny of where it dropped the ball and where it failed children. Professor Taylor said public interest in the case of Jack and Lily remains intense 10 months after they disappeared. I have a hard time imagining that the average Nova Scotia voter can say, yeah, less insight into what happens when vulnerable children go missing or die. In his submission to the Provincial Committee on Monday, Mr. Hutt raised the case of Nova Scotia toddler Isaiah Surratt, who was killed by his mother in 2020 after he was returned home from foster care. The mother, April Wendy Marie Surratt, pleaded guilty to manslaughter in December 2025. Had the proposed amendments been in place, the public would be prevented from knowing the identity of his killer because the proposed publication also shields the identities of any parents or foster parents. Identifying people accused of crimes is a cornerstone of Canada's open court system, Mr. Hutt said. The proposed ban protects the identity of those who have a relationship with the deceased child and who may be accountable for what happened. Moreover, he added, a deceased child's identity needn't be protected because they would no longer be subject to stigmatization and emotional harm. He also said requiring parties to request consent from the minister to identify a dead child is demeaning, removes agency from parents, and has a direct impact on the open courts and the rule of law in democratic society. There is nothing to suggest a minister's decision will not be influenced by outside factors, rather than being based on impartial and objective criteria, Mr. Hutt wrote. For instance, how will the minister exercise this discretion to permit or restrict openness if the minister's own agency may be implicated?
So, if you have any thoughts, share them. Obviously, my thoughts are, I mean, how do you advocate for change? You know, and for Melinda, for example. So if this is pushed through prior to Belinda being able to understand the situation behind the disappearance of Lily and Jack, I mean, eventually one of two things is probably going to happen, that Lily and Jack are found and obviously not alive. I shouldn't say obviously, but you know what I'm saying. And or eventually they will, I would think, maybe not, I'm not sure how it works with children, but possibly eventually be determined to not be alive. how does anyone advocate for change? You know, when Belinda is in the process of trying to gain the rights to that information, um, to obviously um, hope to move forward to advocate for change. One of the reasons. Um, and how does anybody? And I mean, this is also going to prevent the names of those parents or anyone being involved with those children, the foster parents, anybody to do with CPS. Um, obviously, there's nothing good about this, and it is self-serving. It's very self-serving. Um, this makes me ashamed to be Canadian. We are failing terribly for our children. Absolutely. And the thing is, this is Nova Scotia doing this, Belinda. This is not a bill for across Canada. This is Nova Scotia. And there's an issue in Nova Scotia where Nova Scotia just does what it wants. And it's like the guinea pig for, I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. I gotta be so careful what I say, or I'll probably lose this video, but I'll be censored. But it's like Nova Scotia is the guinea pig for anything. Well, try it in Nova Scotia, see how it works there, and then move it out into some other provinces, right? Like, um, it just, there's a major issue in Nova Scotia. Um, Yeah, not right at all. So, and I mean, once children, anybody, once anyone has passed on, um, any harm that you're causing that individual is now, really it's null and void. You're not causing them any harm moving forward. It's about what took place with this vulnerable individual or individuals, whether it be children, elderly, um, uh, disabled, um, what took place, right, that caused harm to this vulnerable person, individuals. Um, they're not here anymore. They're not going to suffer any consequences from that. Except hopefully advocating for something positive moving forward, change. Anytime things like this happen, and I think this is why it's so upsetting to me because I said, there's certain reasons why I started my channel and why it's important to me. And part of that is to make change. I always said that. It's about making change. It's not about blame, but change. Um, and in situations like this, especially involving children and where there's such an issues going on in Nova Scotia, what can we do to change what we're doing to make this better? Well, this is not a step in the right direction. I honestly don't understand what these politicians are thinking. And when this comes to vote, when this comes to the table for vote, um, like that individual, I can't remember who it was in the article there stated they couldn't imagine anybody sitting at that table voting for this. Well, there's a group that came together to propose it. That's more than one person. Um, and you have to think of what this is going to shut down. It's not only going to shut all that information coming out about regarding the children advocating towards change, the individuals' names coming out that were involved surrounding incidences with the vulnerable children. It's also going to shut down anything to do with CPS. So, um, because of course, when things are looked at with CPS, then you're going to have somebody like Alex Strafford there coming out with the truth of how overworked they are, how they constantly advocate for change and for a child and youth advocate, which is another reason why they'd be throwing them a little bit of money there, right? To make it look like, oh no, we've been giving a budget there and some funding. Um, but all of that comes out as well. But for 10 years now, we've been asking for a child and youth advocate, right? So everything comes out. So the province really has a lot that they want to keep quiet. Understaffed protection service workers, um, the No Child and Youth Advocate, all of that stuff comes out. Um, Everything. So there's a lot that they want hushed, you know. Um, it's yeah, it's frustrating. So they can block this information from the public, and then the judge can seal the files and the courts. This is not good for any child. Absolutely not. No. And all, like I just said, all information. Like it's a web. It's the web they weave, right? It's not just this. It's everything. Because as the old saying goes, uh, you know, shit rolls downhill or whatever. And then, so then it goes to the CPS workers, and what's going on there, that this took place, that took place, well, that'll all be shut down because they don't want them coming out with the truth. I'm not blaming them. They're the people trying to do the best that they can in the circumstances that they're given, which we just seen $300,000 for a child and youth advocate. But they're going to be put in a position where they have to defend themselves. So they don't want them coming out with, what they would say. Uh, we all want answers to what happened to our loved ones. Yeah, exactly. And you deserve them. And when there's, someone like Belinda deserves it, and Lily and Jack deserve it. Um, and when you have something like a CPS involved, which is there for all the public deserves to know, because that could be anybody's child in that situation. There's lots of reasons why a child ends up, in the hands of CPS. It's not just because of neglect or abuse or certain things. There's other reasons why. Well, what can happen to your child if these programs are failing? It's because they want to protect those who failed. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think we all get what's going on here. We get what's going on here, and it's nothing good. There's nothing good about that at all. It's ridiculous. It's not the only thing it's protecting are the individuals surrounding the what took place with the children. The only thing I do agree with is now, for example, someone like Baby M, the circumstances she's in right now. Yes, that should all be kept quiet for her regarding her, like her picture being put out there, him sending people pictures and wanting those pictures shown and all over his Facebook and information about visits. Like that was shocking to me because I'm like, no, that's just wrong, and her name being out there. I mean, we know it, but I'm not going to keep splattering it on my channel and putting pictures up, with him with Baby. Like, no, no, I get that. I agree with that. Um, it's all on God. I'm too slow, sorry. I was shocked when I heard no child advocate in Nova Scotia with the high number of kids go missing. Yes. Yeah, with all the issues we have here in Nova Scotia, right? Um, yeah, there's an issue. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Leanne, hi. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so that was a shocker. All right, so let's move on from that, unless anybody else has anything else to say. I will, we can discuss it and discuss it further, or we can move on to the interrogator's thoughts on interrogating a narcissistic, and to the article that Ginger sent me, which is a really good article. Yeah, regarding baby Nova, we know she is now taken care of. In my opinion, we need to know now. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And any parent with a brain wouldn't be doing that. You're not going to keep taking pictures. I mean, I get you wanting having pictures of yourself with your child, no matter where you're at with them. I took pictures of me and my grandson this morning, I think it was, or yesterday. I get it, but in the way that that was being done, like, no, come on now. Like, just the mentality. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to a little bit of story time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A wee little bit of story time from an interrogator. Yep. Take Lily and Jack down. Bless them. They're so precious. My God, they're precious. It's still just, I enjoy my time with my grandson, but when I'm with him, I always reflect back, always, to Lily and Jack. And I just breaks my heart because I see how much he is loved and how well cared for he is. And it's usually, honestly, it's usually when he's eating food, because he eats so well, and he'll be here. Like last night he had pork chop, spaghetti squash, um bruschetta bread his grandfather gave him, Papa gave him, and then he had a little bit of yogurt for dessert. And that's usually when it comes into my head, and I think, like, my gosh, Lily and Jack did not have that. Like, it's just sad. I mean, from what I have learned, you know, it just breaks my heart. All right, interrogator. Okay, as of July 1st, 2025, New Brunswick. Oh, I'm reading the wrong thing, for God's sakes. Like, why is New Brunswick in there? Again, this is the Medium Journal. Interrogate narcissists. Sorry. Here's 5 cruel ways they gaslight you and hijack your sanity. How to identify psychological a warfare before it destroys your sense of self. Now, his name is Joshua Mason, the interrogator, who is sharing his experiences with us. As I beat him, I told him it was about revenge, revenge for the officer he had hurt 5 years prior. And that's in quotes. You guys can see that okay. I think I got it big enough. Now I'm over at the other screen. Hi, Ash. Uh, not not when I went to school. I don't know if they do now. They didn't when my kids were in school either. No. Now, do they now? I'm not sure. Hi, Ash. Um, yeah, so I'm over at the other screen reading this, guys, just to let you know. Feel free to chat with each other while I'm over there. Um, I read that sentence over and over. The word, here, I'll read it again. As I beat him, I told him it was about revenge, revenge for the officer he had hurt 5 years earlier. As I read that sentence over and over, the words blurring in my pulse climbed. A man I'd arrested 3 years earlier was suing me for several $millions. Filed within the dozens of pages of court documents was a narrative so detailed that it could have been a true crime novel. Hmm. He claimed I hadn't just victimized him, he claimed I had ultimately plotted to kill him. This kind of reminds me, it makes me think of uh, Daniel with the dog handler situation there, and him trying to get us to feel sorry for him on the news, about the dog handler questioning him about the stove and, the dramatics of it all. Yeah, he knew this. Yeah, plotting to kill him. So he knew this, he stated, because he had overheard me discussing the hit from his jail cell. Uh, the irony was staggering. This man had, in fact, nearly died, but entirely as a result of his own actions. His arrest followed a high speed pursuit that looked like a scene from Grand Theft Auto, putting hundreds of innocent lives in jeopardy and ending in a violent wreck of his own making. Yet, there it was in black and white. The court papers spelled out that he was the martyr and I was the monster. He wasn't just lying to stay out of prison, he was attempting to hijack the truth. He was gaslighting the legal system to rewrite the history of his own failure and make some money at the same time. Even though I should expect this, it's still unnerving to see reality rewritten with such conviction. It is easy to see the gaslighting when it's this clear. This man had nothing to lose and didn't care one iota how his lies affected me. It is much harder to see when the person rewriting history is sitting across from you at the dinner table, when they pretend to be your partner and you desperately want to believe them, the truth becomes a secondary concern. While I observed my fair share of narcissists as an investigator, I missed one in my own life. Only after years of of observing these behaviors did I realize I had allowed a long-term partner to gaslight me to the point of doubting what I knew to be true. If you feel like you are losing your mind or like the ground is constantly shifting beneath you, it could be because you are being targeted by a psychological uh, manu- um, maneuver designed to disorient and confuse. That feeling, that feeling is disorientation. That feeling of disorientation is the goal. When you strip away the emotion, gaslighting is just a series of repeated, purposeful tactics. For you, it won't be $1 million lawsuit, I hope, but maybe an argument over who's picking up dinner. Whatever it is, these are the 5 cruelest ways a narcissist attempts to rewrite the truth. The victim switch. I know this one. This is the narcissist's primary defensive maneuver. The moment they are caught in a lie or held accountable, they flip the script so that your reaction to their behavior becomes the real betrayal. Guy from our opening checked this box perfectly. According to him, he had been victimized by the police before. So naturally, he was too afraid. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. I put it on mute. Um, Guy from the opening checked this box perfectly. According to him, he'd been victimized by the police before. So naturally, he was too afraid to stop. When you experience this in your personal life, the outcome is always the same. By the end of the conversation, you find yourself apologizing for your tone or manner or manner of speaking, while their original transgression is erased from the record. Selective amnesia. Selective amnesia is a flat, steadfast denial of an objective comment or event. Talking about things you remember clearly becomes, I never said that, or that never happened. In my line of work, we have videos, recordings, and contemporaneous notes to combat this. But in a relationship, you often only have your memory. By deleting the data, they force you to expend all your energy trying to prove. And I hate that. I hate that when somebody does that. It wears you down. It wears you down big time. To prove the past. This leaves you exhausted, yep, to fight about the actual issue. Reality bundling. This is a sophisticated deception where the narcissist wraps one massive lie inside two undeniable truths. Yep, truth with lies, lies with truth. Because your brain recognizes the truth, it wants to bundle the lie with it and accept the entire package as fact. By the time you process the story, the deception has already been filed away in your brain as a verified event. For our suspect in the opening, he would he would later admit to fleeing and using his car to hit mine at the end. Uh, mm, yeah, and this reminds me of the whole blanket thing. You know, we talked about that, the whole elaborate story with the whole blanket thing, and then it turns, in the end, then he admits that, well, yeah, it was hanging on the railing. However, in the middle, he inserted a lie that he actually had attempted to pull over to end the pursuit. Because the beginning and the end were true, the lie in the middle felt plausible. Yeah. Baseline shifting. The most important part of my interview process is establishing a baseline, how a person behaves when they are safe in telling the truth. A narcissist weaponizes this concept by slowly shifting the baseline of what is normal in the relationship. They move the goalposts. That way, you don't realize you're in a toxic relationship until it's too late. Interesting. Let's read that one again. Baseline shifting. The most important part of my interview process is establishing a baseline, how a person behaves when they are safe in telling the truth. A narcissist weaponizes this concept by slowly shifting the baseline of what is normal in the relationship. They move the goalposts. That way, you don't realize you're in a toxic relationship until it's too late. Pretty crafty. It can take months or even years to realize the baseline has changed. And by then, you're too invested to just walk away. Not to mention, by then, the mistreatment just feels normal. How true that statement is. And remember, this is a police officer that has experience dealing with all of this, right? Not just in relationships, but as a police officer who would be dealing with domestic violence and cases of murder. And yeah, it can take months or even years to realize the baseline has changed. And by then, you're too invested to just walk away, like having a baby. Not to mention, by then, the mistreatment just feels normal. Information volatility. Information volatility creates a high chaos environment in which the evidence is always changing. Validity, sorry. I knew I was saying that wrong. I was like, that's not right. Validity. Information validity creates a high chaos environment in which the evidence is always changing. One day you walk on water. The next, you are the reason for all their failures. This constant flip-flopping, and that's the push-pull, causes anxiety that biologically keeps you in a state of alarm. Yep. This validity is designed to keep you so emotionally exhausted, and it does. It really does. It just keeps your head spinning. Keep you so emotionally exhausted that you stop trying to focus on logic and start simply trying to survive. The narcissist wants you in survival mode because survival mode is reactive. The verdict. As an investigator, I have the good fortune of being done with narcissists quickly. Relationships are trickier. Narcissists become experts at hiding who they really are, even when it becomes apparent, which it almost always does. Your instinct may be to fix them. Clinical data on treatment or fixing them suggest a staggeringly bleak outlook. Narcissistic personality disorder remains one of the most treatment-resistant conditions in modern psychology, with therapy dropout rates exceeding 65%. That doesn't shock me. The core empathy deficit rarely, if ever, undergoes any real transformation. Not only that, but it's a safe bet that the overwhelming majority of narcissists would never seek treatment in the first place. Yep. Ultimately, the man who sued me lost his case. He lost because the objective evidence painted a picture that matched the one in my report. The truth won because it is anchored to facts. In your personal life, you are the only one holding the camera. Your sanity and your perception are the only things that matter. Don't waste your energy trying to win a case with a narcissist. Realize instead that the court is rigged and the judge is compromised. Nothing left to do but close the file and walk out of the room. Oh, wow. Interesting. Interesting. What are you guys saying? I had to put my reading glasses on. I was having a hard time seeing the words. Our community healthcare centers offer them to new moms and they teach them how to prepare nutritious meals for their children. Yeah, it should be done. Oh, yeah, he's a hot mess, all right. Oh, damn, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, hashtag audit CPS. Yeah, I agree. Okay. So we'll bring up the other article there that Ginger sent me. Lost child syndrome. So before I read this, I'm going to have to take a drink and run to the toilet. I'll put a little song on for you, and we'll just have like a couple minute break, and I'll be right back. I don't know what the hubby's doing down there, but I hear, oh, he must be cleaning out the pellet stove. Sounds like a vacuum going. I don't know if you guys can hear it. God knows. God knows. Alrighty-o. Make it bigger so you guys can see it. That's not the song I meant to play. I couldn't remember the name of the new songs I put in there, and I thought that was the one, but it wasn't. I was going to play you guys the one with the banjo and the fiddle. She looks sad. Sweet girl. So lost child syndrome. The term dysfunctional family is used to give a name to a family that does not function within normal parameters. There may be alcoholism, drug abuse, neglect, and abuse. These disturbed families harbor children who become of their debilitated families. Sorry. These, I got to put the glasses back on again. These disturbed families harbor children who, because of their debilitated families, are not capable of living the lives they should have. As a result of the dysfunction in these families, children take one of 4 different and predictable limiting roles. These roles include the hero, the scapegoat, the lost child, and the mascot. This article will focus on the lost child, what it consists of, and how to heal. Who are the lost children? Lost children spend an excessive amount of time hiding in plain sight. They expend all their energies trying not to get noticed by anyone, including teachers, other children, and their caregivers. I'm sure this probably sounds familiar to some people. This behavior is usually the result of neglect and abuse, where the child felt trapped and unable to escape. Their only line of defense was to remain quiet and still knowing that eventually the traumatic event will pass. Lost children are mostly made up of third-born children. I was going to say, I bet you it depends where you are in the siblings. Yeah, so lost children are mostly made up of third-born children, but can be any child from the oldest to youngest. Lost children in early childhood develop a belief that they are powerful enough to blame themselves for the woes of their family. They feel they want too much and they do not have a place in the world. They learn early to be quiet, unassuming, so they are out of the way. And so basically, they would be an introvert for sure, a major introvert, right? For sure. They'd be very quiet. Yeah. The lost child spends a great deal of time daydreaming, fantasizing, and creating worlds in her mind where she is happier than with her true family. They love to do solitary activities like watching TV, playing video games, and reading. Lost children are invisible, lonely, and afraid. The lost child as an adult. Adult lost children, because of their upbringing, are not equipped to handle the world. This is because they have disconnected from their families. This means they are left without any knowledge of what to expect in life or from relationships. Adult lost children feel left out, angry, isolated, sad, confused, and powerless because they did not learn in their childhoods how to get along in the world. They might go from relationship to relationship, searching for the family she did not have or form no relationships at all. Their problems with relationships are directly related to their treatment in childhood. Lost adult kids feel people cannot be trusted and that they must remain self reliant and not trust anyone else to meet their needs. Harmful belief patterns in grown lost children. Visible children as adults tend to keep self defeating beliefs that they formed in early to late childhood. Self defeating beliefs. The first belief is that they have the power to hurt others around them by taking up space in the world. So you're just a nuisance, basically. Grown lost children form what is called uh, omnipotence guilt. Hope I'm saying that right. Omnipotence guilt. The belief that they have the power to do anything and guilt because they cannot. Omnipotent, omnipotent guilt basically is the belief that I have the power to do anything for my loved ones, and guilt because I cannot achieve happiness for them. Another harmful belief is that people are too unreliable, unstable, and fragile for them to depend on them. Another harmful belief is that people are too unreliable, unstable, fragile for them to depend on them. As children, these lost adults were faced with grown ups in their family who could not be relied upon to meet their physical and emotional needs. So it makes sense they would believe this as an adult. 4 signs you might be a lost child. While the following traits of a lost child are pertinent, they are not all inclusive. The four signs are they are the four signs are they are the four signs the four signs are isolated, numb, self-sacrificing, and lack of intimacy. They have too many R's in there. Isolated. It makes sense that someone who hid from stress and abuse as a child will become an isolated adult. Lost children in adulthood mimic being even introvert. There you go. They have few friends, are reserved in showing their true feelings, and avoid social activities. Numb. Adult lost children have problems feeling emotions. They may have difficulties feeling sad when something bad happens or difficulty feeling happy. They have lived in this numbness since childhood and are practiced at hiding their emotions. Self-sacrificing. Most adult now that let's go back to that one. That's interesting. The numb. Adult lost children have problems feeling emotions. They may have difficulties feeling sad when something bad happens or difficulty feeling happy. They have lived in this numbness since childhood and are practiced at hiding their emotions. Self-sacrificing. Most adult lost children are selfless. They give generously to others, especially those they love. However, this trait can be self-defeating as these invisible children, now grown to be adults, give too much of themselves. They lose their own needs in the shadows. This giving trait makes adult lost kids vulnerable to people who would take advantage of them. And people who want to take advantage know to seek people like this out. I'm adding that. because it's true. The cause of being self-sacrificing to a fault is that as children, they never asked or received much from their caregivers. Lack of intimacy, sorry. I even have my glasses on now and I'm still messing the words up. Lack of intimacy. Most lost children raise themselves, and as adults, they fail at the intimate relationships they attempt to form. This failure is the result of a lack of enjoyment of physical and emotional intimacy caused by the lack of connections they made in childhood. How to overcome being an invisible lost child. Recovery from any amount of childhood neglect and abuse is not simple. It takes much time and dedication. However, it can be done. The first step is to establish a relationship with a mental health professional. At first, the relationship an adult lost child forms will be will very surface, meaning they will not disclose much. This is especially true of emotional feelings. The only way to defeat being a lost child is to face your past head on. That does not mean you will do it alone, like in the past. Therapy means to experience the rage and loneliness you had as a child with someone else who can help you understand your feelings. Adults know they have reached healing when they refuse to live as victims of other people's dramas and no longer consent to not being in control of their lives. They will also be capable of saying no to the requests of others without feeling extreme guilt and shame. Finally, they have become capable of feeling free. Finally, they have become capable of feeling free to focus on their own dreams. Be brave enough to live your life of your dreams according to your vision and purpose instead of the expectations and opinions of others. Roy Bennett. It's a good article. Yeah. Any thoughts on that? Um, nope. Brought my glasses. Oh. Oh, you guys are talking about supper macaroni. That sounds good. I haven't had macaroni in ages, and it's one of my favorites because I've cut back on the carbs. Ginger, you're funny. Hold, please. Intermission. Coconut cream pie, whipped cream, and a cold glass of cow. Yummy. Macaroni too. Blackberry parfait here. Well, that sounds good. Yeah. The firstborn can sometimes become the hero that protects the older children. Yeah, I figured the older child, um, yeah, would be the hero. Uh, yeah, for sure. Many of these individuals can be seen walking amongst us. Oh, yeah. I mean, we ourselves, I was brought up in an abusive household, and I certainly see, I would say I was a lost child. Yeah. And by the way, I am the no, I wasn't the third born. I think I might have had a combination of the lost child and hero in there. I would say I had a combination of both. Although I wasn't the oldest, I was the oldest female and more mature. There's only a year between my brother and I. And um, yeah, and then I see quite a bit of the lost child there for sure. The learning to just stay quiet and unnoticed and introverted. Uh, Many introverted aspects. Well, like it said, it mimics the introvert, right? Wow. Is this ever a trigger from what I just learned this past Friday evening, speaking with my youngest daughter about her upbringing with an a-hole stepdad? Oh, Makes me angry and want to cry. Yeah. Yeah. But you can help her, right? She's opening up to you. That's good. Yes, narcissists seem to target the lost child. Yes, definitely. Yeah, we have pork chops with my can of mushroom soup. Oh, I love doing it that way. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yep. Can of mushroom soup on top, macaroni with canned. Oh, I do both. I do both the pork chop with the mushroom soup, and I do the macaroni with the canned tomatoes. I can't eat beef anymore though. Some people put like ground beef in it. I put um ground Mexican pork. It's so good. Mm. You guys are making me want macaroni. All the lies and the deceit, but she is happy. She and I are restoring our relationship and knows everything she was told was a complete lie about me and knows I am very love loving man and dad. Good black bear, little black bear, good, good. Sue, I was born in the 60s and the youngest of 6 siblings. I don't remember from the age of 9 down, but I think I had a good life. Well, I hope you did. And Ginger, I think childhood educators should be educated in this so they can get children the help they need. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know what they're trained in. They must have some type of training. I doubt it's this specific though. I doubt that. Yeah. Um, I'm going to play the thank you very much, Damien, for becoming a member. And we'll play our thank you song. I got to play another song for you as I downloaded on here because it was just so cute. And I thought there'll be a time I'll get to use it. Yeah. Thank you, Damien. Thank you very much for becoming the newest member of Novah's Inquest. Thank you, thank you. Listen to this one. This is so cute.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen.
I agree, little black bear.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. Maybe someday you'll have it your way. Maybe someday it'll all work out.
I thought that was cute. Exactly. I should have played it. I should have played it at the beginning. But I get so irritated. There should be for sure, Ginger. But people, I don't know. It's just messed up in what we should know and what we don't need to know. Like people just don't care. People don't care. Yes, 100%. That is yeah. Aaron Geddes. I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. Have it your way. Mm, however it goes. Uh, yeah. I'll come up and say goodbye to you guys. Take this off screen so I don't look frozen. There we go. Yeah, I definitely should have played that at the beginning. You're right. I actually forgot it was there because, and that's the thing. I'll download that stuff and then I'll forget it's even there. I'll forget to use it. All right, guys. It's after 2 hours. And I always said I'd limit myself at an hour, but honestly, when you're doing these type of topics, you can't. It's always going to run over an hour. And of course, I want to chat with the chat as well, right? You guys are here. I don't expect you to just sit there and not have me acknowledge what you're saying. Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that have been funny, Grendel? I don't think so. Oh, no, no. Yeah. Take that toolbox. I'll tell you what I'd like to do with that damn toolbox. Just, how about this? How about this? I will donate $1,000 to please bring me home. And then I get to do what I want with that toolbox. And I'll take it and I'll cram it right up Darren Getty's ass. How about that? How about that? Yeah. How about that? Mm-hmm. Sounds good to me. All right, everyone. On that note, lots of love, lots of positive vibes. Thank you to all of you for being here. Let's just stay focused, right? And on the topics that we're talking, right? It's not always Lily and Jack, but we need to stay focused on, who it is, the victims, the victims, the victims, because that's exactly what Lily and Jack are, victims. Um, we're not exactly 100% sure yet of everything, but they're definitely a victim of something. Um, yes, Belinda, you too. Yeah, and lots of love to you and Chelsea. You're always in my thoughts. Um, Thanks everyone. Thank you. I'll put up the missing posters in the end there as well as the songs playing. I'll put up all your goodbyes. Thank you to you all for being here. Thank you. Lots of love to you all. I wish that Lily and Jack would show up properly on the screen because it does on the phone, but it doesn't on the computer. It just comes up. It is actually it's typed in there as Lily and Jack, but because it's so long, it'll only come up Jack or Lily. Yeah. You too. All of you have a lovely day. I'm trying to figure out what to have for supper now. I got macaroni in my head for some reason. Had pork chops yesterday, so all right, guys. Bye.